Hi, everyone, and welcome. We're going to give everyone just a few minutes to join the webinar today, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So we'll get started around 6:02 p.m. Hi, everyone, and welcome. We're going to go ahead and give folks a couple minutes to join, and then we'll go ahead and get started in the next minute or so. We'll go ahead and get started. So we have plenty of time to go ahead and give kind of the overview of the Master of Science in Data Science program, otherwise referred to as the MSDS program. And we'll go ahead and have plenty of time at the end for questions as well. So to get started, my name is Kaitlyn Rye, and I am the Graduate Program Manager of the MSDS program. And I'm so happy that you're here with us today in the evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're at in the world and wherever you're joining us from. We're so excited to kind of let you know about the program and then, of course, answer any questions you have. Joining me today, we also have Mika, and I'll turn it over to her to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mika Puseman. I am the course coordinator for the MSDS program here at CU Boulder, and I'm also very excited that you all are here.
So to go ahead and get started, we're just going to give a little brief orientation to the Zoom platform and the features that we'll be using in today's webinar. So just so everyone knows, we will be sharing the video recording in just a few days by the end of the week at the latest. So don't worry about taking notes or worry if you have to head out early or anything like that, because the recording will be sent to you afterwards. There are two features as part of Zoom and as part of today's webinar, the chat feature as well as the Q&A feature. So if you want to go ahead right now and use that chat feature at the bottom of your screen and enter where you're joining us from today. We always love to see where folks are joining us. Great. Austin, Texas, Virginia, Austin, actually quite a few Austin, great. Littleton, Boulder, Taiwan, India, lots of Colorado, Chicago, Wyoming, Connecticut, North Carolina, great. Well, thank you for spending the time. Like I said, we love to hear where folks are joining us from. We currently have students completing this program on 6 different continents in over 50 countries and in 49 states. So very representative of our overall student population. So love to see that. And thanks once again for joining us from wherever you are in the world. For the rest of the presentation, we are going to be using that Q&A feature at the bottom. Like I said, the presentation part of this will take about 20 minutes. We'll just do a brief overview of the program, cover some of those top questions that we get as part of the program, probably some of the questions you have as well. And then we'll have plenty of time at the end for any questions you have. And that's where you can use that Q&A feature. We do ask that you hold questions until the end, just because, like I said, we'll probably cover some of your questions throughout the other part of the presentation. We can go ahead and skip along, and then Mika will take it over and introduce the University of Colorado Boulder.
Thanks, Kaitlyn. All right, so we're going to start with just a little bit of information about CU Boulder as a university. CU Boulder is a world-class university. We have over 850 visiting international scholars. We are top 30 in the world in education, and that ranking is based on educational quality, student training, faculty prestige, and faculty research, and that's according to the academic ranking of world universities. We were founded in 1876. We are a Tier 1 Research 1 institution. Our faculty have launched over 140 new startups. We have researchers who have filed for over 1,000 patents in the last 8 years, and we have over 500 inventions that have been delivered in the past 5. Beyond that, we count 5 Nobel Prize winners, 5 National Medal of Science winners, and 51 Fulbright Fellows among some of our graduates. So I'd like to talk a little bit to you today about what makes this program unique. So the first thing that makes this program unique is our admissions. Here at CU Boulder, in this program, we use a performance-based admissions. So what that means is that in a traditional on-campus graduate program, you're going to go through a really rigorous application process. But what if I were to tell you that this program has no application? No GRE scores, no TOEFL or IELTS scores, no letters of recommendation, and no application fee. All you'll need to do is prove that you can do the work, and you'll be admitted into this degree program regardless of your background. So you'll complete a series of 3 courses, and you'll need to do so with a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or higher, which is a B average. Then you'll be admitted to the program as a graduate student of CU Boulder. There aren't any formal prerequisites for the program, but we do suggest that you're familiar with Python, R, calculus, including derivatives and integrals, and linear algebra, specifically working with matrices. So once you complete that series of 3 courses, which we call a pathway specialization, you'll be admitted to the program. We have 2 pathway specializations that you can choose from. If you're strong in computer science, we recommend that you start with the data structures and algorithms pathway. But if you're stronger in statistics, we recommend that you start with the statistical inference for data science pathway. And if you're not sure that you're ready to start or where you want to start, you can also preview non-credit versions of the courses before you start for credit. And we'll talk a little bit more about what non-credit and for credit mean later. So the next thing that makes this program unique is the courses themselves. In a traditional program, each course that you take will be worth about 3 credit hours. But in this program, our courses are focused into smaller pieces. So each of our courses is only about 1 credit hour, and you can expect to spend about 5 to 8 hours per week on each class. The program itself is 30 credits total, and those 3 credits that you complete from those 3 pathway courses do count toward that 30 credit limit. So that means once you finish the pathways, you will have completed 10% of your courses already. And so even though our courses are shorter, the program still covers the same rigorous content as an on-campus degree. You're going to learn technical competency in many areas of data science. That includes statistics, data mining, big data architecture, and machine learning. You'll also have the opportunity to apply those different skills through various electives as well. Coursera, the platform we operate on, uses mastery learning, which ensures that you understand important concepts from one lesson before you move on to the next. And this way of teaching ensures that you actually understand those basic concepts before you move on to more complicated topics. The next thing that's unique about this program is the way our semesters run. In a traditional program, there are normally 3 semesters per year that includes summer, and each semester is about 16 weeks long. However, our program runs 6 sessions per year, and each of those sessions is only 8 weeks long. Most students can take 3 classes per term, and they don't need all 8 weeks to complete a single course. It usually only takes about 4 to 6 weeks to complete a course. But this program is self-paced, so you can go faster or slower than that average pace if you want to. And if you would like to take a break, you can even take off a term or 2 or 3. We simply require that you complete all 30 credits for your degree within 8 years. Yet another part of our program that is unique is the way you're going to pay for your classes. Traditionally, students will pay for an entire semester all at once, which means you're going to have a large bill that you have to pay up front. Our program, however, allows you to pay as you go. As of January 2023, we are excited to announce that we lowered our tuition cost to only $525 per credit hour. So you're going to pay per credit hour or per class, not per semester, and that allows you maximum flexibility. We also offer multiple payment options. So you can pay online with a US checking or savings account, and there's no fee associated with that. You can also pay with a credit or debit card for a small service fee, or you can use a wire transfer via Flywire. If you have questions about any of those payment methods, you can also read more on our finances page. You're not going to get course access right away until after we receive your payment, and then you complete all of your onboarding steps. So definitely remember to finish all of those payment and onboarding steps quickly and give yourself enough time to finish those steps and the course before the end of the session, even if you have some delays. And finally, the last thing that makes this program unique is what you're going to receive when you graduate. So what do MSDS on Coursera students receive? You're going to receive the exact same diploma. Students in the online program earn the exact same credentials as our on-campus students. There is nothing on the degree, transcript, or diploma saying that this is an online program, and you'll be earning a fully accredited Master of Science in Data Science. And beyond that, you are invited to attend commencement on campus at CU Boulder during your graduation term. It's not required, but we're always happy to have you. In addition to that, you're going to receive some career services. Students admitted into our program also receive lifelong access to Handshake from CU Boulder Career Services, which is an online tool where you can network with fellow alumni and where employers post jobs. It also hosts weekly virtual employer events. You'll also be able to get your resume reviewed using review services from VMOC, and after you graduate, you will join the Forever Buffs Alumni Association. Finally, our program, the CU Boulder graduate school policies do apply to our program as well. Those policies cover things like course repetition, grade replacements, academic standing, and so on. So while this program is offered completely online, there are opportunities to connect with peers. In addition to a student Slack channel where you can meet classmates, we also have other opportunities. You can get involved with our Data Science Student Association, or DASA, which is a group of students in both our residential and our online programs. They've planned events like a hackathon, a virtual movie night, and a few networking events. You're also able to attend graduation ceremonies, like I mentioned earlier, upon the completion of your degree, which gives you the opportunity to come to campus and celebrate the accomplishment of earning your master's degree. So overall, by reducing the time commitment and the number of credit hours per course, students in our program can earn the same rigorous degree without that intense 16-week commitment that traditional programs require. That's going to give you maximum flexibility in regards to both your time and your finances. And we found that that flexibility is especially attractive to working professionals who might not be able to commit to a heavy course load for months at a time. And so now I'm going to pass it back to Kaitlyn, and she's going to explain a little bit more about how this program works.
Great. Thanks, Mika. So yeah, as Mika just mentioned, you're probably wondering how all of this works, and I'm happy to explain that process for you. So all courses are online on Coursera. So if you simply really want to learn the content, you can take non-credit classes there. You'll pay a monthly subscription fee to Coursera, where you can see a large portion of the course content, including watching videos, find readings, and complete some labs and assignments. If you'd like to earn academic credit from CU Boulder, you must upgrade from the non-credit version to the 4-credit version of the class. To do this, you do have to complete an enrollment form on CU Boulder's website and pay tuition. Then keep in mind that new students are required to complete some onboarding steps before they can access to 4-credit content. So please plan ahead, plan for a few extra hours, if not a full day, to complete the onboarding steps, which do include accessing your CU Boulder email address, linking your Coursera and CU accounts, and completing a short onboarding course that connects you with resources and where to go to for help while you're in the program. So some of the other differences between non-credit and 4-credit coursework is students in 4-credit courses also gain access to additional student services that are available to graduate students at CU Boulder. So these include online library resources, career services, in addition to additional course support, such as weekly office hours with course facilitators and a dedicated support email where you can get help with questions for your 4-credit courses. It's important to note that you can start in non-credit and upgrade to 4-credit at any point during an enrollment window. So you can start now in non-credit and a year from now upgrade to 4-credit and whatever progress you've made in non-credit will carry with you once you upgrade. Keep in mind that you will have to complete that onboarding process in addition to completing at least 1 week's worth of material, which is usually in the form of a final exam or final project. So in terms of what a typical student looks like in our program, so most students are like Muhammad here. So these students really follow kind of a pre-planned course plan. So they complete the 3 pathway courses. Remember, you have to earn a B average or better in all of those courses. You can choose from the data structures and algorithms pathway or the statistical inference pathway. Once you're admitted to the degree by meeting those admissions criteria, the 3 credits you've already earned count towards your degree. So you only need 27 more credits before you graduate. The courses are designed to be flexible, so you can complete them in any order. You need to take 21 core courses and 9 electives. There are 6 terms per year, and most students take 3 courses per term. This is equivalent to full-time graduate level study. If you follow this typical learner journey, you'll complete all 30 credits in about 2 years, and you'll earn the same diploma as an on-campus student. However, we know that this program is designed to be flexible, and that's the benefit of it. So some students might need more time, like Ryan. Ryan isn't sure whether he's ready for the program just yet, so he starts a non-credit course. After he feels confident, he pays tuition and upgrades to the 4-credit version of his course, and the work he's already completed transfers with him. Ryan has a busy schedule, so he takes fewer courses per term. He even takes a break from the program completely for a few terms when he's especially busy at work. If you take this extended learner journey, just remember that you must complete the entire degree within 8 years. On the other hand, you might want to complete the degree even faster. So Linda here wants to earn her Master's of Science in Data Science as little as possible. So she takes 4 or 5 courses every term. At this pace, you can complete the entire degree in as little as a year. Ultimately, you choose the pace that's right for you, and the flexibility allows you to really kind of take that into your own hands. So in some of the courses as part of the program, like mentioned before, we have 21 credits of core classes. Those are all required classes. And then you can select from up to 9 credits of elective courses. So any of those courses, there are a mixture of core and elective classes, and the elective courses are continuing to roll out on a rolling basis. For the summer 1 term, we are launching the final 2 courses of the statistical learning specialization, which will give you more concepts of statistical machine learning concepts, and is part of both the grad certificate for the data science program as well as the degree. And those do count as elective credits. So in terms of some of the common questions we receive as part of this program, and probably some of the questions that you have as well. So one of the top questions we get is the MSDS on Coursera program accredited? Yes, it is fully accredited by the Higher Learning Commission, HLC, which is the same accrediting body as all University of Colorado Boulder programs. And you do get the same diploma and transcript as our online students. What if you do not have a STEM background, or if you're newer into the field of data science? That's great. You do fit the model of some of our students in the program. So what I do recommend is for you to take some of the non-credit courses that really serve as a prereq for students who don't have a strong programming or math background. So we have 3 specializations that are available in non-credit on Coursera now that really are designed to prepare you to do well in the pathway courses as well as the entire program. So you can take all of them if you want to, or you can just use them to brush up on your skill set before going into the pathway courses. So whether you need some R programming, Python programming, or some of those essential math tools such as linear algebra and calculus. So the other question is, can you transfer credits into this program? Unfortunately, no, you cannot transfer credits from another university or campus to this program. Only courses affiliated with the MSDS on Coursera count towards this degree. The next question is their financing. So right now, this program is not eligible for US federal financial aid, and we don't have scholarships. However, we have been able to greatly reduce our tuition costs. We were even able to reduce the cost from the original price of just over $20,000 to now about $15,750. So you might want to look into getting private loans if that's a good fit for you. But most of our students do receive some type of employer sponsorship as part of this program. So we do recommend that you reach out to your employers to see if they offer any type of tuition assistance program. A lot of times, companies want to know that this would benefit them just as much as it would benefit you. So when making this request, make sure to outline the skills and knowledge that you'll learn in this program that will benefit your company. Specifically, asking questions such as, will, learning new data visualization have an impact in your daily work? Do you have a particular project in mind that could benefit from machine learning, etc.? The next great question we get from some of our international students is, do I need a student visa? No. So because this program is fully online, there's no need for a student visa. And we also do not issue I-20 forms for this program because it is not required to be on campus to complete the program. So this means you'll not be eligible for curricular practical training, CPT, or optional practical training, OPT, as part of this program. So, do I need to purchase any textbooks for the course? No. Luckily, any of the course materials that you'll need to complete the program will be available in the course itself. So you do not need to purchase any additional materials as part of this program. What if you have any questions while you're learning? Great question. That's what Mika, myself, and some other program staff are here to help with. So if you do have any questions about the content in your courses, we do strongly recommend utilizing your best resource, which is your fellow students. So you will be added to a Slack channel. So you can really get to know these students through Slack channel, conversations, discussion forums, and you can really brainstorm with them when you get stuck. When you help your classmates, you not only strengthen your own knowledge, but you also develop your professional network. Then we also have dedicated course facilitators who do host weekly office hours. So you can join the course facilitators office hours if you're in the 4-credit version of the course. There you can connect with the course facilitator and ask questions about the material being covered in your 4-credit class. Getting into the last question, but of course, one of the most important, I always say, and one of the ones I always kind of spend a little bit more time on what are the career outcomes for graduates? So in general, CU Boulder graduates have gone on to work at top companies such as Amazon, Apple, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, NASA, etc. And the median annual salary for data scientists is over $100,000 in the US, according to the US Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Some of our specific career outcomes is that about 30% or over 30% of our students have an annual salary once they've graduated of more than $175,000, which is incredible. So we're always really excited to share that statistic that it's almost double the average salary for a data scientist, and that our graduates have gone on to work at some of these top companies that CU Boulder graduates have gone on and have definitely top salary earners. In terms of some of the resources that some of our students used to find a career or to kind of take that next step in their career are some of the resources that are available as part of that career services. So some of our students used Handshake or a job board. Some of them found connections or networking through our Forever Buffs Alumni Association or networking with peers through the Slack channel. And then a smaller portion used a career fair, which is available to 4-credit learners, or an advisor or career advisor. So these resources are available to you as a student, and you can kind of use this to either take the initial step in the field of data science or use it to get a new promotion in the field of data science. So one final thing before we kind of turn it over to the question and answer period is right now our summer 1 session just started for enrollment. So if you enroll today or at any point from now until June 16th, you will be enrolled in the summer 1 session. And those courses do run from May 8th through June 30th. So if you enroll today for your first time, you're giving yourself 2 weeks before classes start to really go through those onboarding steps. You don't need 2 weeks, certainly, but it definitely helps to give yourself some extra time. And then, of course, you can always start in a non-credit course today or at any point and then decide to upgrade once you're ready. So with that, we're going to turn it over to, like I said, the question and answer part of the presentation. I see that there are some questions in there now, so we'll go ahead and get to those. Feel free to ask away. We have in the next half an hour or so to be able to answer any of your questions.
So Kaitlyn, do you want to answer the few questions that we have in here about what financial aid students are able to apply for or can receive for this program?
Yeah, great. This program is not eligible for a federal financial aid or FAFSA because of the way enrollment works, how it is an open enrollment program. A lot of times with FAFSA, you have to prove that you're enrolled in at least part-time or full-time status. And because this program has very flexible enrollment options and has a very large enrollment window for a session, it makes it ineligible for federal financial aid or FAFSA. Students have found success in using private scholarships. So a lot of our students use like Discover student loans or other things like that. And then in terms of other methods of financing, we are eligible for veterans benefits. So if you have a GI Bill, it is eligible for that, or scholarship, or not scholarships, tuition reimbursement through their employers, I would say, are kind of the common funding sources that our students use. I do see another question here about how many graduates have you had so far for the program? We launched in spring of 2021, so we've been around for about 2 years now. And so far we have 44 graduates, and we'll have more students who will be graduating at the end of this session as well, which this session ends in 2 weeks. And I think there's about 30 additional students who are going to be graduating at the end of this session. So very soon we'll have just about 75 students who've graduated from the program.
We also have a few questions in here about PhDs and how this program works with that. And this program is not designed to be followed up by a PhD. There are certainly students who have tried to do that, but there's much less research based in this program. So yes, this program is a lot less recommended for folks who are going on to a PhD afterward.
And to answer that a little bit more additionally too, I see someone asked a question about if they can ask professors in this program to write a letter of recommendation. It is rare, I will say. However, I do know of one graduating student who is going on for his PhD, and he did ask some of his online instructors to write letters of recommendation. And I know our faculty director did write him a letter of recommendation because she does teach some of the classes in the program. It is rare, and it's not something that I would say like, yes, you're definitely going to have that be available. But there is one student who is going on for his PhD and who did build that relationship with the instructor to be able to write a letter of recommendation. I also see, Mika, there's a question about who are course facilitators.
Yes. So the course facilitators are all graduate students who have taken the course material already in some fashion or another. So you can think of them as really similar to teaching assistants in a residential program. They're all graduate students and they work closely with the professors. So for these courses, so if they do not know the answers to your questions with this material, which usually they do because they're all required to know the material thoroughly before they work in a course, then they can go directly to those instructors and work with them. So our course facilitators for this program are really great, and they will hold office hours usually twice a week for every single course, and at different times, so that you should be able to find a time where you can meet with those course facilitators and get some questions answered face to face. I also see a few questions in here about tuition and how to pay for your courses. So firstly, what is the tuition cost for the brush up courses, which are those non-credit courses that you can take to brush up on your skills for computer science, statistics, any of those things, R, Python. And those courses are strictly non-credit, so there is no tuition cost for them. If you are already a CU Boulder student, you have access to those courses for free using CU on Coursera. Otherwise, you can use CU or Coursera's subscription fees, and you can get them for just whatever Coursera is charging for their monthly subscription fee, but there's no tuition associated with those non-credit courses. And then additionally, what is the process to convert from non-credit to for credit? So we get this question very frequently. It's a great question. You can start in the non-credit version. You can do as much or as little of the coursework in that non-credit as you would like. We suggest, working most of the way through it or all of the way through it, because the material in non-credit courses does transfer to the for credit. It's all linked that way. So when you upgrade to for credit, all of your progress will transfer, and then you'll have some additional material that you'll need to complete in the for credit version. So once you're ready to upgrade to for credit, you'll go on to our website, which is listed here at the top of this slide, and you can click the Enroll Now button. You'll go through all of the payment steps, and then at that point, you'll go through the rest of the onboarding steps, and then you'll be given access to your coursework, and you can finish out whatever coursework you have left in the for credit version.
Great. So there's a few more questions coming in about the level of programming that one should be familiar with in terms of the program. So in general, we recommend intermediate level of R and Python and any kind of essential math tools such as linear algebra, calculus, some basic stats. But the benefit of doing that non-credit version is that you can actually start the class now to see kind of if your level of proficiency is kind of up to par with the material in the courses. And if it's not, then you can go in and do those non-credit expressway to data science specializations, which is a path that I definitely recommend for students. A lot of times I have conversations with students who are like, I haven't taken a stats class in 20 years, since I've been in undergrad. And if you're doing, any kind of data science in your everyday work, a lot of times the skills that you have there is also going to help you in your courses. So it's not always necessary to go in and do those non-credit courses or non-credit expressway to data science courses. A lot of times if you're doing the work already, even if, it's not specific stats or specific college course where you're going in and doing quizzes or anything like that on a daily basis, oftentimes you're probably a little bit more prepared than you even think you are. So start in the non-credit version of those pathway courses, see if your level is, good. And if it's not, then of course, go in and take those expressway to data science classes to brush up on that skill set. I do see a few more funding questions. So I'm just going to answer all the funding questions in here now. So one of the other questions is, can you use a 529 fund to pay for the courses? Yes. For any prepay program funding, it works a little bit different. So I always like to say this, but because this is a prepaid program, even if you're using a GI Bill or the 529 fund, or your employer is completely paying for it, whatever method that you're paying for it, it is still a prepaid program. So what that means is when you fill out that enrollment form on CU Boulder's page, you still will have to pay the $525 per tuition hour. And then on the back end, whether it's an employer funding, whether it's the 529 fund, whatever, they add the payment to CU Boulder. And once that payment processes, then you get a refund from the amount that you've paid from the enrollment form. But you will have to pay on that enrollment form for your payment to process through and for your enrollment to process through. We have plenty of students who use, some type of employer reimbursement, GI Bill, 529, and it, is a pretty smooth process, but it's different than some other programs. So that's why I always like to say that up front. There's another question here as well. If your employer helps fund this master's program, will you get proof of enrollment or grade transcripts for reimbursement? Yes. Like I said, this is a process we are very familiar with. A lot of our students do some type of employer tuition benefit. So it is available to you in your student portal, which we call the Buff portal. At the end of every session, once grades post, you can pull an unofficial transcript in addition to an account summary or itemized receipt. So those are things you can pull by yourself. But if you need any kind of additional employment verification, that's something that myself or the grad advisor, Emily, who's not here today, can assist with. So yes, in terms of taxes, there are some tax benefits, but we always recommend using a tax advisor if you have additional questions. But at the end of every year in your Buff portal, you do get a tax form added to your student account for any bills that you've paid or tuition you've paid for that year. Oh, okay. One more question too that I'll answer, and then I think Mika has some others too that she sees in here. But is a student's asking if they can't pass one of the courses, do you get another chance to work on it? Yes, we do have a grade replacement policy as part of the graduate school at CU Boulder. There are some restrictions to it, but yes, you can use grade replacement, which means you can retake a course if you received a C+ or lower in that course. You can retake it, and then that new attempt, if your GPA is higher than the first attempt, that will show your new attempt only or your higher attempt only, and it will count towards your GPA. So yes, but there are some restrictions, so always reach out if you have any questions, and we do hope that we can have that conversation before you do end up failing that class. So reach out to the course facilitators, reach out to your advisor, reach out to me if you have any questions throughout your time in the program, and that way we can really kind of help you before that hopefully happens.
Something also to note is that the drop or withdraw deadlines for each of these courses. So you have 2 weeks from the day that you enrolled in the course to drop the course and still get a refund for your class. So definitely be paying attention to that date that you enroll, and then in those first 2 weeks, really get familiar with that course content. And if it looks like you're not going to be able to complete the material, or you need more time and want to go back to the non-credit, definitely make sure you keep track of that deadline, and you'll be able to drop the class and get a refund. After that 2-week deadline, you are still able to withdraw from the class. However, you would not get a refund for that. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as you're planning out your coursework. And then let's see, I have a few other questions that I marked to answer. So do we have to pay Coursera fees in addition to tuition? The answer to that is no. CU on Coursera is a really great option for CU Boulder students. So once you have a CU Boulder email and are a CU Boulder student, you'll have access to all of the rest of our courses in the non-credit space for free. So once you've already started paying tuition, you won't have to keep paying those Coursera fees.
So a few other questions. Once again, this is getting recorded. So if you missed the first half of the webinar, we will send a recording by the end of the week to the email that you used to register this. And if you do have any additional questions that is unable to be answered today, Feel free to email datascience@colorado.edu and we can answer any additional questions there. So in terms of some other questions that we're seeing, someone has some questions about the MSCS program that's launching. Great question. So for those of you who didn't see the announcement, we are also going to be offering a Master of Science in Computer Science degree program that is offered by CU Boulder and will also be on Coursera's platform. There are some overlapping classes as part of that program as well. Our instructors who teach in the data science program are often housed in a lot of different departments on campus, including computer science. And so some of the courses are cross-listed. So if you are interested in the MSCS program, I do recommend that you reach out to that program just to make sure that you're getting all the correct information. And they also are having a webinar. I believe it's May 24th, but it is on their page, which I can link as well. But yeah, there is going to be some overlap in courses for the MSCS and MSDS program because our instructors do teach in that computer science program. And so yeah, very excited about the launch of that and to provide some additional opportunities for students to take some courses.
Kaitlyn, do you also want to talk a little bit about whether or not you can transfer from this program to the residential program on campus?
Yeah, great question. So no, the answer is no, but it's not quite a clear-cut answer. So it is not recommended. If you are planning on being on the on-campus program, it has a completely separate application process. And so we just have wrapped up applications for the fall 2023 cycle, and we are going to be launching the application for the fall 2024 cycle in July. And so you do have to go through that application process, get admitted to the program, and then start the program then. If you're in the program, you can transfer 9 credits from the online Coursera program to the residential program, mostly electives. Core classes are a little bit harder to transfer, and it's not something that I would recommend until you know you're accepted to the program, just because you could be making progress if that's your ultimate goal. So definitely kind of chat with the residential advisor and email datascience@colorado.edu that you can get connected with the residential advisor there and kind of talk about your options. But you can transfer 9 credits from the online to the residential program. But at this point, you'd be starting the program in fall 2024. And there's very specific classes you can take. So not necessarily the recommended route. Another question I'm seeing a lot of is there a capstone project for this degree? Yes. So we are partnering with IBM and offering an IBM capstone project course that allows you to complete the last course of the IBM Professional Applied Data Science Certificate. So you can earn a professional certificate in addition to earning credit from CU Boulder that counts as an elective towards the program that allows you to kind of use those skills and knowledge that you're learning in a lot of the core classes in this program and apply it in a capstone project. Next spring, we are launching a capstone project of sorts that is very similar to the IBM project, but partnering with different data sets with different companies as well. And that's going to be launching like a year from now. So some questions are about career services, internships, things like that. So in terms of utilizing some of the resources that are available to you, we do not have support for internships, meaning that we don't offer a course for credit for internships. That doesn't mean that students do not have internships as part of this program. We have plenty of students who are utilizing career services to find not only a full-time opportunity post-graduation, but also utilizing those same services to find an internship or a full-time opportunity while they're in school as well. So once you're admitted to the program, you do have full access to career services. So whether that's making a one-on-one appointment with a career advisor who can kind of go over resume or anything like that, you are welcome to attend career fairs, whether they're online or on campus as well. If you live local enough to campus, you are welcome to come on campus for career fairs. So students have utilized those resources. And then honestly, a lot of times students find opportunities through networking events. So whether that's through that Slack channel, students communicate and post jobs and say, hey, I'm looking for an intermediate level data scientist at my company. Here's a job, apply for it. We do have a number of job listservs as well that you can sign up for to be notified of that. And then we do different events across the country where we do some networking. So actually, Dr. Jane Wall, who's the faculty director of the program, and myself are heading to Austin, Texas, in the middle of this week to kind of do some networking with current students, alumni, companies in the area. I see some students are here from Austin, Texas. If that's the case, feel free to email datascience@colorado.edu and I can get you the information. But those are some of the resources that we would recommend.
So we've had a couple questions come in about ID cards. So students in the online program do not receive a physical ID card. So our campus is public. So if you want to come walk around campus, you're more than welcome to, but you won't receive any physical ID card that would get you into any of the buildings on campus. So just keep that in mind. I also see a few questions in here about additional like lab or software fees or book costs. And at this time, we've tried to develop all of our courses so that there are no additional fees or labs or books that you would have to buy. Instructors provide all of that material in the courses for you. So that is a really great option for you as well. And then another question I'm seeing that I've seen a few times is, can I just take all of the classes through Coursera Plus? And the answer to that is yes and no. You can take all of the classes on Coursera Plus, but that does not count toward the degree. In order for a course to count toward the degree, you do have to pay tuition. You do have to go through our enrollment forms. There is that onboarding process. And then there is additional material in those classes that you do not get access to on Coursera Plus. And that material has to be completed in order for your classes to count towards your degree. So Coursera Plus is part of that non-credit that we've been talking about. So you're welcome to take those classes non-credit, but to count toward the degree, you have to go through the enrollment forms.
And there's a few questions as well. If you have to take the pathway specialization concurrently, or do they have to be taken sequentially in 3 separate sessions? It's ultimately up to students. I think most students that I've seen have taken all 3 at once in the same session. That is not necessarily what I would recommend. It's really ultimately up to you. Each course is designated to be about 8 to 10 hours of work per week. And if you're enrolling in 3 classes, that's, upwards of 30 hours a week you can expect to spend on coursework. Most of our students are also working full-time and can't dedicate an additional 30 hours per week. So what I would recommend is enrolling in the first pathway, see how it goes, see if you have the time to commit to more courses than that. And then the next session after that, enroll in the next 2 courses, or if you're, comfortable with the pace you're going, take one, and then 1. I've seen students be successful in both options. I just think in terms of, setting you up for success, take 1 course first, see how it goes, see the pacing, see if you have the time to commit to more. And then at that point, commit to more. Also, the pathway courses and really any course within a specialization is designed to be it's designed to be built off of the course before it. So if you're enrolling in all 3 courses, you really still almost have to complete it sequentially in order to kind of really grasp the material. So what we recommend is doing, one course from the first pathway and then doing a vital skills class or something. If you really want to take 2 or 3 courses, it sets you up better for success than taking them all together.
We also have had a lot of questions come through. I've typed it up a few times, but I can say it here as well about which pathway and if you have to pick one or the other. And yes, you'll use one of the pathways to earn admittance to the program. So we always suggest using the pathway that you are more strong in those concepts to gain admittance. And then after that, the second pathway is part of the core courses for this degree. So you still are required to take those classes in order to graduate. So if you're really excited about both pathways, that's great because you do have to take both of them in order to graduate. And if you're less familiar with the second pathway, it will give you an opportunity to also still learn that material as well.
Yeah, great. I'm seeing 2 kind of more trends in courses or questions. The first is, should you expect a price per course change in the next 2 years? As of now, no, that's not the plan. However, keep in mind that tuition increases or decreases could change at any time as part of the university, but that is not in the plan right now. In terms of the question also about we lock in prices, same thing. It's going to be whatever the price is per credit hour upon enrollment. So there's not a way to kind of lock in prices or anything like that. One question, and Mika, I'm curious if you know the answer to this. If not, then I'm going to encourage you to reach out to data science and we can find this. But is there any recommendation on computer capability?
That is a great question. And quite frankly, I am not a great technical expert. I would say having a fairly recent computer is never a bad thing. I don't think you have to have any sort of like supercomputer or very super powered computer in order to run these. But you definitely don't want one that's incredibly slow. And if you have more questions about that, I would suggest maybe reaching out to a course facilitator once you're first in the class to kind of see what that's like, or joining the student Slack channel and seeing maybe what other computers those students have. I wish I could answer that more fully, but I'm not a super great technical expert.
Great. And I do know that a lot of the assignments you can do in your browser as well. So sometimes I get questions on, do you need to have the newest CPU and whatever else? And the answer is, I think that you can finish it in a browser, so you don't have to have like a heavy data source or anything like that. But yeah, reach out to datascience@colorado.edu and we'll get you the correct answer, just to make sure that your current computer is sufficient. Some other really great questions. We have about 6 minutes left, so I want to make sure we get to these questions here. But one of the questions is, how do I get feedback on homework assignments, and can I submit homework more than once? And yeah, the answer is it really depends on the course and it depends on the instructor. Each one has kind of different qualifications that are all outlined in the course itself as to whether or not you can resubmit assignments. In terms of feedback on homework assignment, it really kind of depends on the different assignment types. So some assignments in the courses are peer graded, meaning that you'll review your peers' assignments and then you'll get graded by peers as well. Course facilitators are available to step in if needed and provide some additional guidance and feedback on those assignments. And then a lot of the courses have auto-graded assignments that does give you feedback on what you've done wrong or maybe where to revisit some of the tools and techniques to kind of figure out the homework assignment. And then, of course, go to the office hours for course facilitators. They're there to help kind of answer any broad questions about the course as well. And then, yeah, so next question, how would you say that this master's will prepare you for an intermediate data science position? Yeah, great question. So we have really a mix of students at different levels of their career in this program. And we have found that no matter what level of career students came in, all students were kind of the same data-wise as the success rate for career outcomes in terms of career placement. So we didn't see that students who were, having 10 years of data science professional experience were more successful in finding careers after this program than someone who had 0 years of data science experience. That's really kind of the benefit of utilizing some of those resources and career services, is they really can kind of talk about that and talk about how to utilize your skill set to apply to different jobs. And so intermediate level, I would say, yeah, if you're already in the field and you're kind of looking for that next step in your career, I would recommend this because you would take some of those new technical data science courses and concepts to be able to lead or take that next step in your data science career, in addition to the fact that you can take electives in the engineering management program. And those are a lot of times kind of preparing you for management level positions. So I know some of our students who are at that intermediate level, kind of trying to get into a manager position of a data science organization, take some of the electives that really kind of allow you to add to your resume and say, hey, not only do I know the technical data science skills and how to do it in both Python and R, and you can approach it from different perspectives, but now I also know how to, build an organization or finance the tech team and kind of take this further. And so that's really kind of some of those ways that you can use those 9 credits of electives to make sure that you're prepared for the career that you want after this program. And then I think the last question that I'm seeing here is, how do I decide upfront how many classes I'm going to take in a term? Yeah, great question. Luckily, we do have an awesome, fantastic graduate advisor, Emily, who, like I said, is not here today, but she would be more than happy to meet with you and does meet with students before they enroll in a session. Like I said, I would recommend taking one course first and then deciding from there, if you have the time with all of your other life commitments going on, to do well in the class in the program. But yeah, reach out to Emily. She can be reached at the datascience@colorado.edu email. And she can also meet with you as well to do any kind of course planning or anything like that. Ooh, final question that just came in. Great. Will we have graduation on campus? My favorite question. I love students in the program, of course. But what I really love is when students go out into the world and really kind of take those skills into their next set in their career. And so, yes, we do have graduation ceremonies on campus. We're actually having one on May 12th. So students from kind of all over the world are joining not only the main campus CU Boulder commencement ceremony, which is at Folsom Field, our big football stadium on campus, but then the next day we have kind of a smaller data science graduation ceremony. So that's really where you'll be able to shake the hand with the dean of the graduate school and, Dr. Jane Wall, the faculty director, any of the instructors that you're learning or meeting in this program. And that's where you'll kind of get to walk across the stage with your peers. And right now, our May 12th ceremony, we're having about 150 overall attendees at that event. So we're very excited to celebrate you once you go on to graduate. So yes, definitely come to campus for graduation. Well, with that, it doesn't look like there are any more questions. So at this point, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us once again from wherever you are in the world. We really appreciate your time. We're very excited to hear about your interest in the program. I know I've said it a million times, but if you have any additional questions, please reach out to us at datascience@colorado.edu. And we'll be happy to answer any additional questions you have there. And the recording of this will get sent, like I said, at the end of this week. So reach out if you have any questions until then, and then keep an eye out for the recording on Friday.